Hello, my friends. Andy over at the Andy Falco Show, coming to you live from Brea, California, 6 p.m. on Friday. It is Friday. All right. This is awesome. All right. So I actually was not planning on doing a show. I actually have been wanting to do a show every day, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I've had a couple days where I was really ranting. As some of you will say when you send me private messages. I love the private messages, by the way. And I need to preface, I have a few friends who have accused me of ignoring them. And more than one. I have several friends who said, why are you ignoring my texts? And why are you ignoring my messages? I am sorry. This is not unusual and not new to me. I'm not ignoring them. Ignoring them would mean that I see them and then don't respond. Now, there are possibly times where I look at them as I'm driving and I think I'm going to go back to them and I don't. So but it's not ignoring. I'm not purposely ignoring. But other times, by the time I see your message, enough messages have come in that it goes below the fold. And then I rarely scroll down to see what's come in. And that's all I can tell you. I am not, I don't ignore. Well, there may be a few people I ignore, but I don't ignore. I'm not ignoring. All right. My assistant has accused me of that. I have close friends and family members that have accused me of ignoring their messages. I'm not ignoring your messages. I promise you. It's just they come in. People are sending me a bunch of stuff. And then some of the great ones, the reasons I really have fueled me for this show, and the reasons why I like other shows like Dan Bonjoni and some of the others, I don't want to go through all the names of the people that I watch, is that we need shows like this because I have so many. Here's one of the reasons. One of the reasons is I have so many people that send me stuff that say, can you put this on your page? Because I'm too afraid to put it on mine, right? I have a whole bunch of people like that, tons of people. There are people that liberals would not think are conservative or Republicans or free thinkers that you're friends with that you think are liberals, and they're not, because they're sending me stuff and said, I can't put this on my thing because I've tried to fool people into thinking I think a certain way, and I don't want to let them know, and they'll hate me, and they'll block me, and they'll cancel me. And so can you put this up? So I get a lot of messages. I get Candace Owens videos, and don't stop doing it because I don't want to miss one, but I get so many videos of people supporting either a show I've done or something that they may think may be interesting. And so keep them coming. The problem is I have friends that think I'm ignoring them, and I get one message from somebody and it could take me an hour to watch a video that they've sent me, and then four more messages come in, that kind of stuff. So I apologize. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. The other reason I do this is because not daily, but almost daily, I get a message from somebody that says, you know what, I'm glad I didn't unfriend you because you've showed me that maybe I wasn't thinking correctly. And they go, and so I got a couple of those. The people appreciate it, and they say, you know what, I'm definitely not voting Democrat next time around, as long as the candidate is good. And they've said that they're going to vote for Trump because of how horribly they've been treated by the Democratic Party. It includes black people, white people, Mexican people. I get a couple a week at least. And lately it's been almost every day. And so I woke up to a couple messages today saying, you know what, I'm sorry that I was so mean to you before, but you know what, I think finally you're right, because every time I turn on the TV, it's another lie that I've been told, which I thought was the truth, and I kept spouting out there as being the truth. I've discovered that it's now a lie. The hydroxychloroquine controversy, they had to retract the study that the Democrats use, CNN use, MSNBC, whoever else is out there, have been using to say that the president is trying to kill people because he's telling people to take hydroxychloroquine, that it's killing people. And now it's that story is being retracted as a bad story. So I just want to tell you that. Before I go further, and I seem to always forget this, I'm going to get to the comments that are coming in like crazy right now. And that is, I want to talk about the sponsors. This is so important, and I got to get better at this. But I have not gotten a stimulation check. I have not got my PPP loan is not. I've filed paperwork. They've sent me requesting stuff. I've sent everything that they need. There's no phone number to call Wells Fargo. There's no way I'm checking on. There's no way of sending an email. There's nothing. Wells Fargo has forbidden you to contact the people that are looking at your documents for PPP, and you cannot talk to anybody. They can only communicate with you. Right. And I've gone into the bank. I've tried looking up phone numbers. I've tried sneaky ways. I said, what? I've given you everything you need. You gave a loan to Planned Parenthood for millions and millions of dollars, something like $35 million. You gave it to them overnight when the PP thing went through. But I'm a small guy. I just asked for $25,000. You've given me nothing. You've only continued to send me an email that says that we're looking at your thing. Don't contact us. But we're looking at it, right? And then here, send me some paperwork. And so I send them some paperwork through the system they have. It's not an email, it's a system. And then I got an email saying, we're not receiving anything from you. We think you're, if you don't contact us soon and give us what we want, then we're not going to do it. I've sent it to them now 3 times, and I went to the bank and had them fax it to see if it goes. So I'm ready. So sponsors are important. If you like coffee, just try this coffee. Go to todayshappycoffee.com, todayshappycoffee.com. It is a great program for both a coffee that gives you energy, makes you happy, and in some cases can possibly help you lose some weight. There's tons of testimonials about people losing weight, and it's great. It doesn't hurt to try if you like coffee and you like energy, I'm telling you, I had to cut down to half of one of the packages. So they have it in packages or they have it in tubs, but there's this package, you can serve it cold or hot. And I had to go down to half because I put a hole in one day and I was flying off the ceiling and the walls for hours. And so I've cut it down to using a half. So does it work? Yes. Does it work for me? Yes. It is great coffee and it tastes great too. There was a time early on that they contacted me, wanted me to get involved and sponsor and use them as a sponsor 2 years ago. I tried it at that point. It wasn't good, but I'm telling you, they've changed the flavor. They've reformulated everything. Everything is much better. Packaging is better. The company's better. Everything's great. So please go to todayshappycoffee.com. If you want some CBD, which is CBD1, I take it every day. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take some more because I'm going to make sure and keep my blood pressure down. Goes underneath the tongue, just like that. Go to todayscbdoil.com and get some CBD oil or some cream, which you rub on your neck, shoulder, knees, elbows, hands. It's a great cream. You feel it working. It heats up the area. It's fantastic. Go to todayscbdoil.com. If you want some vitamins, some other wellness products, you go to todaysvaseo.com. Great, great companies, one of the top 50 healthcare companies in the world. So go to one of those companies. I would greatly appreciate it. It would help me. It's the only source of income that I have right now because I have not worked for 4 months in my real business. But that is starting to look up too. But it would be great if you could at least give it a try. Click, look, buy something, test it out. If it doesn't work, take it back. I think all these companies that have money back guarantees, all of them. So, but it would do me so much good if you do that. All right. So, hey, Amy, nice to see you. April Roga's on. You don't know me as much as you used to. I'm sorry. April sharing. April, the other April. Hey, Nicole, nice to see you. I saw your passionate show yesterday. Man, you were making me cry. Nicole, my Lord, that was... Nicole, I don't know. It was so heartfelt. It's making me emotional just thinking about it. I couldn't. I just was watching your video and just listening to what you were saying, and it was so moving. So thank you for doing that. My gosh, can we get a friend loss update? How much has your friends list dwindled? It's increased. I get friend requests constantly. I know people think that. Really, April, that is actually something that people really think. No, I have more people now. Usually when you get friend requests, it's usually you have, anywhere from 5 friends in 5 mutual friends, like on Facebook, not necessarily mutual friends in real life, but mutual friends on Facebook. Or I've had even up to 300 friends, mutual friends with some people when they request. Usually it's somebody in the multi-level marketing business or somebody in the book production business or marketing business or social media marketing business. And in that case, I usually have anywhere from about 45 friends in common or up to, I think the largest maybe been 400 friends. One person, and we had 400 friends in common. This week, I think I've had 35, and these are not the Pakistanis. I get tons of Pakistanis. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if I look Pakistani. I don't know what, or what, but I get a lot of Pakistani and Egyptian friend requests. All right. But besides them, I get 10 to 15 friend requests daily. And now it's more requests of people that we have no friends in common. So I have to do a lot more research. I have to look on their Facebook page and look what's going on and see when they joined. And there's a whole lot of research. So I don't know that I've lost any. I get people saying that this is it, and then I see them comment on something later on. So I have a lot of people threaten they're going to unfriend me, and then they really don't. That's happened like 3 or 4 times, and I don't know why. I don't know why they threaten, but they don't. All right, but I know that there's been 1 or 2. I haven't gotten any of mine either. No way to call. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's see what else we got on here. And you talk very fast. I know. Is it annoying? I'm trying to get a lot of information in a very short time. Things are going away heavy on my heart. I know, man, that last night was okay. Okay, so I got through the comments. Continue to comment, please. I really would love for you to comment. Keep it coming. The comments is what drives the video, so more people will see it. So just put a heart or something in the comment, not just a heart in the emotion. If you could put like a heart or a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or you're a jerk. I had somebody from Twitter yesterday comment and told me to shut up. That's awesome. More of those too. More of the people that dislike what I'm saying, or think I'm horrible, or think I'm a lemming. Here, let me change this so that it looks a little bit better, because people like it that I'm also a lemming. I've been called that. Put those in the comments because they help, and I would appreciate that very much. All right. So I wasn't planning on coming on, but some news just came across about a half an hour ago about the Buffalo police officers on the SWAT team who have resigned. 57 officers have resigned. And I'm going to get to that. And I'm also, and this is all related to a post I put up yesterday in my personal page that said, Minneapolis police officers, you better not show up to work. And because it's too dangerous or something like that. I forget what my posts say. Sometimes they type them late at night and then I fall asleep and forget what they said. And one night, I think mine last night, I did put one up that made no sense, and I wish I would have deleted it. But I was just you get so kind of pissed, right? And you just want to like, whoa, okay. Sometimes I take a little bit more time. I read it. I'm always a horrible spelling. That will never change. But there was this one post. Sorry, I went on a whole rabbit trail. One post saying, Minneapolis officers, you're in danger. I would not show up to work. Now, as a police officer, and I even got some officers on that post saying, you can't do that. And that would normally be true. Normally, I would say police officers, you cannot do what's called the blue flu. A department going through a contractual dispute between the city and the police association. There's things where we haven't had a contract in a very long time. Anaheim went through it a couple times where we would picket around Disneyland and hotels and City Hall and that kind of stuff, but we would have to do that on our days off. We would never, I wouldn't say never, but many officers, and I believe this too, that you do not serve the public for a contractual dispute. If you've chosen to be a police officer and the work for the city that you're working for, and you've made that conscious decision, and now you're working and you have, medical, you have a pension, you have dental, you have, a fairly good wage. We were making upwards of $100,000 a year as police officers in Anaheim when I retired. Who knows what it is now. And so you're really making a pretty good, decent amount of money in California. Most departments don't make what we were making in California. California is one of the higher paid police departments in the world. And so, but there were times where we wanted something. We needed some changes. I think when we want to go from a 5'8" to a 312 or a 410, and then we wanted to have compensation and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, but it was never okay in any of our minds, as far as I know. There were some people that wanted to do it, but I think for the majority of police officers, we cannot do a blue. It is not the citizens' fault that we cannot get a contract and get it organized and signed and agreed upon between the city and the association. It is not the citizens' fault, but we got to continue to service the citizens. We can't not go to calls, which was another discussion that comes up every so often. You don't go to, hey, if we're not getting what we want, we're not going to calls. But it's not that person's fault who has somebody in their house that's, robbing them, right? Or, a carjacking victim. It's not that carjacking victim's fault that we are having a contractual dispute with the city, and then we don't show up to help them. We can't do that, because that's not who we are. That's not why we signed up for the job. That's not what our duty is, as we gave our oath. We read the oath on a Bible, most of us, or with our hand up in the air and the other hand on the Bible, and said, we promise to uphold the laws of the state of California and to protect and serve and all those things, right? We've done all that. Now, I don't want anybody typing, well, what about the guy who stuck on his neck or kneeled on his neck? Okay, listen, we have bad cops, of course. We have racist cops, of course. They're very few. They're very few. So few, so much fewer than any other industry. And maybe I'll explain that, why I believe that. But I've gone through that over the last couple of shows. But we raised our hand and said, we are going to protect and serve. And that's even when we're having a contractual dispute, all right? So yes, I agree. I agree that that's not the right thing to do. However, this is different. We are in such different times, because the problem is that we are now, I'm retired, but the officers, police officers, I still call myself a police officer, even though I'm retired. I might still bleed blue. My heart still hurts when cops get killed or get hurt. But this is a different time. This isn't the same thing as a contractual dispute, because now we have politicians, liberal politicians in Democrat-run cities and states who hate the police and despise the police. And we have citizens that are overrunning and overpowering police in those cities. The problem is that any action we take that looks inappropriate in any way. Now, shoving down a 75-year-old man, that definitely was inappropriate, but I'm going to talk about that in just 1 second. All right. But when you talk about all the bricks that they've taken, all the frozen bottles of water that they've taken, all the being spit on, all the being pushed and shoved, all the Molotov cocktails have been thrown, one 75-year-old man in most of this televised rioting across the United States, it was horrible that the 75-year-old man was put. Again, I'll talk about that in just 1 minute, as to not an excuse. I'm just telling you how these things happen, right? Anytime I talk about how something happens, I'm not making an excuse for the cop that did it. Even the moron cop who kneeled on George Floyd's neck and killed him, even if I explain how that happens, I'm not making an excuse that it happened. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Right? I need to tell you the whole story. I don't need to just make up a bunch of crap, right? But I'm telling you, I want to tell you how these things happen. And that's the only way we're going to understand how we fix these things, right? If you don't understand how those things happen, we will never fix them. And so when you close me out and you call me racist, which I've already been called racist, I've already been called a Trumpster, I've already been called a lemming, I've been called, because I explain. When I'm explaining how it happens, it doesn't mean that I'm excusing that it happened. All right. Did I say that 5 different ways enough to tell you the right thing? All right. So the difference is these cops are putting themselves in a position where they're going to have to defend themselves. They are going to have to defend themselves. The problem is, if they do, they will either at best be fired and at worst be arrested. That is not like not going to work because of a contractual dispute. Me as a human being, I want to be, as a police officer, I went to work every day hoping I would save somebody's life if I had the opportunity, that I would save somebody's property from being stolen, that I would make somebody's day better because I responded and understood that the thing happening at that moment is the worst thing happening in their life, and that me responding with the passion that I had and understanding that that is the most important thing happening in their life, not in my life, that's happening in their life. And I handled in a way that was honoring of the police department, that I did my job every day, every call, 25, 35, 45, 55 calls a day. Every one of those 55 calls, I wanted to handle them every time regardless of what you think. People that work with me, I think most people would say that. There were days when you go, God, I'd like to go to another domestic violence call. This is the 20th of domestic violence call that I go to. And maybe I would be like, gosh, darn it, on the way. But when I get there, always when I arrived, I said, listen, I would tell myself, and I talked yesterday about, wasn't yesterday, I was during the mastermind retreat call. I talked about a mastermind retreat call that I do every week with our masterminds that are entrepreneurs, and I teach them how to do certain things as far as entrepreneurs are concerned. And we talked, and I asked everybody, I said, I want everybody to tell me what they're grateful for. You know, this is a time where we need to remember, and they couldn't talk about their kids or family. They had to be grateful for something other than friends and family. And so tell me what you're grateful for. And when it came my turn, which I think I went first, when it was my turn in the very beginning, I said, I'm thankful for all the mentors. And I remember the captain in the police academy who said, remember, every call you go to, the most important thing to always remember, regardless if you're having a fight with your spouse or your beat partner, or you're just having a bad day, that all stops. It has to all stop, because the most important thing happening on that call you're going to is that the fact that it's the most important thing to that person that you are serving. It could be a suspect, it could be a victim, it could be a witness. And when you arrive, and that person, that human being that you're talking to on that call, that person, that is the most important thing happening to them. Never forget that. It's not about how tired you are. It's not about that, you know what, I know you're having a bad day, but I'm having a worse day because me and my wife aren't getting along, right? If you showed up for work, then that means that you have to put yourself last and that person first, no matter what color, no matter what they're doing, no matter if they're saying F you, you're a fucking pig, you're a asshole, it doesn't matter, because it's the most important thing that happened to them. If you keep that in mind, you will make better decisions as to handle that situation, how to talk to them. All right, I realize you are angry. I realize that you are angry at all police, but I am not all police. I am a police officer, and I'm here to help you make the best decision possible to get us through this call. And what is it that I need to do to make that happen? What is it you need from me? And I could say, no, like, well, you can let me go. And if it's a suspect, well, no, that's not an option. I need to take you into custody. How can we make that happen so I don't have to kill you? Right? I have said that. I said that to a couple of people. I said, all right, you are going to jail. You're going to go to jail. And this is just the way it is. And I would smile just like I am now. My personality has not changed. And I said, you are going to jail. Now, I need to know how to make that happen without either one of us getting hurt, and taking you to jail in a manner that will be better for you. Because if you make this difficult, it's going to be worse for you. Right now, you're going to jail for burglary. Right? You don't want to go to jail for burglary, assault and battery on a police officer, or homicide of a police officer. That would make it really bad for you, right? Going for burglary, there's a good chance you're going to only get charged with petty theft, and you'll be out tomorrow, or by the time I'm off my shift, the way it is now, right? But if you choose not to cooperate, do you see, I can make this a lot happier for you. So does that make any sense? All right, so that's completely different than what we're going through now. Right? You got every cell phone that's within the vicinity of where you are working as a police officer from different angles, right? If you and they're going to edit those videos, right? They're not going to show what's happening before. They're not going to show the audience, they're not going to show CNN or MSNBC what happened before that you got spit on before you took your stick. So you're holding a stick like this before you took your stick and whacked them in the face, right? They're going to show you whacking them in the face. They're not going to show that person spit on your face, right? They're not going to show that part. They're not going to show that you got shoved. They're not going to show that that just moments before the person next to you hit you in the side of the face. So now you're blinded in one eye, and now you see this person coming, and to defend yourself, you cock them in the face with the end of your stick, right? None of that part will show, only the part of you hitting them with a stick. The problem is that video is what either sends you to jail, or you're fired. You lose your pension, you lose your medical, you lose everything when you're fired as a police officer. You lose everything. That is why this is different. This is why there's, I would go show up. I would first try to show up to work and say, listen, because they still need beat cops out there answering calls. Because there's a riot in the middle of the downtown area, that doesn't mean there's not officers out there answering the calls of domestic violence, of trespassing, of burglary and robbery, assault and battery, all the other ones, right? There's a bunch of other stuff happening in the city. Everything that's happening is just not there. All the other crime in the city does not go away because there's a riot in downtown Minneapolis. It's a huge city with a lot of other stuff going on. Not every cop is there in Minneapolis. I love when they talk about the numbers. Well, New York has 35,000 police officers. Well, not 35,000. 35,000 officers aren't there. Some are sick, right? Some are hurt. Some are in the hospital because they've been shot or stabbed in the neck. And then you have other officers that are still answering calls in the city of New York and other places. And so now you've dwindled that down. And then you have supervisors, you have bicycles, you have undercovers, you have a bunch of stuff. So you're dwindled down to just a couple thousand. Don't let people fool you that they have 35,000 cops there. And that's why they don't have to call the National Guard. That's what I've heard. You know, I've heard Cuomo and the stupid mayor, what's his name? Pelosi. I can't remember his name for some reason. The whatever his name is. And so, we have 35,000, whatever the number is. I don't know, but it's huge. Well, you only have, and you have 2 shifts, right? You then cut that in half. And so you don't have that. You need the National Guard. You don't have 35,000 officers there on scene. You only have a fraction of your force there on scene because the rest are answering calls in other places. If you're not, then you are letting your citizens down, because what if, there's a lady that's getting raped and we have no officers to come help you, fend for yourself. No, cops are going to respond to those calls. You have to have that happening. And so de Blasio, thank you. I don't know why that was just escaping me. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. That's a way to get you comment by asking you questions. I appreciate that. All right. And so this is a different time, and I am sorry. I am sorry to the citizens. I am sorry to everybody that I mentioned that and said that, but I'm telling you, the officers that resigned understood that. I didn't cause them to resign. I'm just telling you, I know why they resigned, because it's too dangerous to go out on patrol. It's too dangerous to be in the riot area because everybody has cameras, and the only part that's going to be shown is you knocking somebody down or pulling somebody out of a car. You got 6 officers in Atlanta who are now fired, I think, and charged with some type of assault. I don't know if they're charged. I know for sure that they've been either suspended or fired because they pulled some people out that I'm guessing nearly tried to run them over. Something happened in that car, but the only thing you're seeing is that they're pulling out the people out of that car. And police work is rough. It's not pretty. I told you that. There's times where you have to drag people out by their hair. Have I ever dragged anybody out of some location by their hair? Yes. Have I ever grabbed them by their toes and pulled them out? Yes. I told you the other day, have I ever broken somebody's arm in the middle of a fight? Yes. Did I use that broken arm as a weapon against them? Yes. All right. Have I ever hit anybody with nunchucks? I used to carry nunchucks. Yes. I hit people with nunchucks all the time. How many people did I bite with my police dog? I bit 80 people with my police dog. My dog nearly tore the chest, the bicep off of somebody. My dog opened up an artery on somebody's leg. My dog, what else? Nearly removed somebody's part of their butt, and bit him on the butt and tore it up. These are all felony suspects, robbery suspects, carjacking suspects, dangerous suspects. But it's not pretty. If you see the video, if you're there seeing what's happening of that thing, you're going to go, oh my God, that is crazy. Yes. But we are dealing with violent criminals on a daily basis, and it's only a very small percentage of the community. And so this is what happens on a daily basis. But what you're seeing now is it's being videotaped in a very macro way, and it's not fun. It's not pretty. You're taking crap. And you got to defend yourself. And they're being arrested, fired, and suspended for taking action to protect themselves. Do you get pissed when you get hit in the face with a bottle filled with ice water or frozen water? You get pissed. Do you get pissed when a Molotov cocktail just misses your head and lands behind you and catches one of your partners on fire? Yes. You get pissed when you have your police car pulled up there along the curb and they throw two attorneys throw Molotov cocktails inside your car and burn all your crap that's in there, all your personal belongings along with everything else that's in there. Do you get pissed? Yes, they're human beings. They're not robots. They don't go and look, oh, you just burned the shit out of my car and that Molotov cocktail nearly hit me. But, here's a flower. Here's a flower. Let me kneel to you and kiss your boot. That's what they want us to do. That's what the liberals want us to do. That's what the Democrats want us to do. And we're not going to do that. And if we don't do that, we get fired, we get suspended, and we get arrested as law enforcement. I'm speaking as law enforcement. It's too dangerous for law enforcement to continue to do this because the politicians hate you. The liberal people and Antifa and the protesters holding up signs to end policing, they hate you. They hate you. It's too dangerous to be out there and putting your pension and your freedom at risk. And I know this goes against everything police officers have been told, that you do not partake in the blue flu. You do not show up for work. You do not show up for a call, right? But that's because normally the city has your back. Normally, supervision has your back. That doesn't mean if you are a racist. That doesn't mean if you murder somebody. That doesn't mean that if you work outside or do something outside the policy. I'm talking about, these are guys that are doing some things within the policy. All right, let's talk about the old man that got knocked over, the 75-year-old man. Same thing. And I'm sad that happened to that man, and that he got pushed down and he fell. You have something that's called adrenaline that's going on. These are young cops. That cop looked pretty young to me. Very similar, situations that I've been in as a young cop. When you're trying to learn early on, you're trying to figure crap out. When you go through the academy, they can never put you in a situation of something that's in real life. At no time in the 6 months of the academy did they ever turn the lights off in a way, or make a loud enough noise in a way, or have an actor yell at you a way that it really ever stressed me out. Like, I knew they were actors. I knew that I was in it, that they were using blanks. Right? I knew they were using a rubber knife. Right? At no time did I go into a scenario with a rubber knife guy. Hey, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and then blah blah, and they stab you. Did I ever go, oh, stop? You're oh, I'm so scared. Never. Right? I told you about the scenario I did, but there were cops that lost their mind when I did that. But never did I go, oh, I'm frightened. It is not until I was standing talking to a police officer friend of mine, and somebody shot at us, and the bullet hit the wall. So it was about this close. We're talking like this. The bullet literally went either between us or just over our heads and hit the wall. And the bullet hit the bricks, and the bricks went flying. And then we hit the ground, and we're like looking for the guy who shot at us, and we couldn't find him. We went searching around. It is not until that moment that you realize, oh, we're not in the academy anymore. We're getting shot at. We're getting shot at. And yet we're not running and hiding. We're going in to try to find the guy that shot at. Like, it's just the opposite of what most people do. Most people would run and hide, like shit. We ducked down, and then we got up, and you ready, go. And we took off for the darkness where we thought the gunshot went off. We didn't go the opposite way. We went towards where the guy was shooting at us, because we were gonna find him and shoot his ass. And so it is really just the opposite, right? It's just the opposite. And all of a sudden now you get the feel. So what happens when that happens? Your adrenaline is. I could have picked up a car and moved it, because the adrenaline's flowing, and if you've not been in that situation very many times, it takes you a while as a police officer to understand that you have great power in this body, in these hands, and these arms that may not be that big. But when your adrenaline's flowing and the testosterone is kicking in and the fear hits, shit happens. All right. So I'm not making, again, just because I'm explaining how it happens doesn't mean that it's okay that it happened. Please understand the difference. So you have officers that are now, they've already gone through 3 days. They've watched for 3 or 4, how many days this has been going on? 4 or 5 days, right? They're either watching on the news, or they've actively returning from other shifts where they've been taking bottles and Molotov cocktails and being run over. They've seen the sergeant get run over by a car. They've heard about the cop getting stabbed in the neck. They've heard about the cop being shot in the back of the head while he's dealing with a rioter. They heard about the captain who got shot and left to die on the sidewalk during a looting, right? You know all this going on. And now you've kissed your wife goodbye, and you see your little one, right? Your 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old at the door and say, I'm going to work. And they go, oh, would you not go to work? We know what's happening. We're scared. And you're saying, it's going to be okay. I'm going to go to work. And this is my job. This is what I signed up for. I'm going to go there to protect the citizens of whatever city, right? Whatever this was. This was in, what city was that in? Minnesota? Minneapolis? No, where was it? St. Louis. I forget, but it was in the city. I knew what city it was before I got started, but whatever said, and you go, and all the way to work, you're thinking about, God, I hope I survive. I hope I don't get hurt. And you are pumping yourself up. You put your uniform on, you put your helmet on with a shield, you got your stick, you got a bunch of stuff going on, and you're going to go in there. And unfortunately, it looks like to me, I don't know the whole story, right? We don't know the whole story. And the minute you see the video, you see they're marching towards into the danger zone, into the red zone. And they're pumped, right? You're pumped and ready to go. and you got a 75-year-old. What's he doing there, number one? And I'm sorry that he's there. He's in the wrong place. Why is he there? He's 75 years old. Why are you there, sir? Who's watching you? Where's your children to protect? Why are you there? I don't know. And he went up there like he was going to grab somebody, and the testosterone kicks in, the adrenaline kicks in, and I want to believe the police officer didn't mean to take down the 75-year-old. He just bam. He did. I'm telling you, I have done it. I have pushed people down. I saw a cop as I was driving up, pushed, and I'm not going to go into detail because we're really good friends to this day, and he may be on and that kind of stuff. I don't want to bring up bad memories, but you can push somebody just to move them, and they trip and fall. And this happened in Anaheim. I drove up right when it happened. I saw the 17-year-old kid get pushed by my friend, and the kid tripped, like his feet clicked together. And it was a parking bumper, right? When you pull up in the 7-Eleven, when you pull up to the store, there was a parking bumper, and then about 4 feet beyond that was a sidewalk. So there's the asphalt, there's a lip for the sidewalk that is about 4 or 5 feet from the parking stop. Right. When he pushed the kid, he hit the parking stop with his heels. He fell, hit his head on the corner of the sidewalk that led to the store. Kid died. Dead. Did this officer mean to do that? No, I was driving up and I saw him talking to the kid, and the kid was like in his face going, F you, right? He was looking up. He was actually shorter than the officer, my friend. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And the cop just pushed him like that, like, get out of my face. Right. As police officer, we don't have to have people yelling in our face and spitting like I'm doing now, and yelling and screaming and saying, shit to us. Right. And what he was doing is just say, get back. Right. Get a real quick shove. His feet he hit his head, dead, died. Very similar to this thing. They didn't mean to do it. He didn't mean to harm that 75-year-old man. He was Buffalo. Thank you. It was Buffalo. And so he pushed the old man. The old man fell, hit his head. And now you can see him look down, and you see him and he kind of trails off. The news said, well, he just walked over him. Well, some of the cops that were there did not realize what had happened, and so they continue walking. A couple of them had to figure out what to do, and you're going, well, we're supposed to move forward. We were given the command to move forward, and he's saying, but I pushed this guy down, and you can see him cut him around. Again, not making an excuse. Should he have done that? No. Do I think he did it on purpose? I probably not. He didn't mean. He was in the mode of anybody that gets in my way, we're pushing back. This guy came at the wrong time. Why is he there? It reminds me of another incident that I got called by the LA Times. The LA Times calls me and says, hey, in Anaheim, a 80-something-year-old man was bit by one of the police dogs. This is after I retired. They're calling me for a statement. And so they call LA Times calls and says, hey, incident occurred. Did you hear about it? Yes, because I heard about all the incidents. Anything canine related, I hear it could happen in wherever, and I get information. People send me stuff like crazy. And they sent a dog into the back of a yard to search for a suspect who had fled. They were searching backyards. 80-something-year-old man was in the backyard. The dog bit him. The dog bit the old man so bad that they may have to remove his arm, amputate his arm. Give us your statement. What do you think? Was the dog vicious? Were the officers out of line? Did all this stuff? And I said, well, from what I know, they did everything by the book. They knocked on the door. They told the old man at the front door, hey, we're going to search your backyard with a police dog. They went and the old man acknowledged. Okay, I understand. They said what we always say, make sure you don't go in the backyard. Make sure you close all your doors. Make sure the dog doesn't have any way to get into your backyard. We'll wait. And so that happened. And then they said, okay, we're going to go to the gate and we're just stay in your house. Don't come out until we're done. So they go to the gate. They open the gate. They give an announcement. Anaheim Police Department, come out. We know you're in the backyard. Come out or we're going to send the police dog. The old man suddenly, because he's old, goes, oh, you know what might help if I turn on the back porch light. And so for whatever reason, however he had to turn the porch light, he went into the backyard. He went through the back door and opened the door to go outside to do something, maybe to make sure the light was on or tell the officers, hey, I turned the light on for you, because he's old. And he didn't think. As he went outside, the dog was released. The dog comes around the corner and bites the old man. Right? Should the cop go to jail? In today's world, he would probably go to jail. He probably would at least be fired. Right? Because that's the difference of where we're at today than where we were a week ago with law enforcement. Accidents happen. Incidents happen where we get frustrated and we get angered because we've been pelted with crap over and over. For hours, we've been pelted by something. And then somebody drives through a crowd of people and we stop them and we pull them out like they're pieces of crap, because they are. But we have to be careful. And sometimes it's on video and it looks really bad and we get suspended, we get fired, and we get arrested. It is really a bad time to be a police officer at this moment. And I would not blame any cop that did not show up for work, because it's dangerous. Not dangerous from the sense, well, it is dangerous because you may get shot, you may get stabbed, you may get run over by a car. All those things have happened. But it's more dangerous and it's more likely you're going to be fired, you're going to be suspended, or you're going to be arrested if anything gets on camera that makes it look like you hurt somebody, no matter whether you meant to do it or not. And so I am sorry. I am sorry that I'm telling cops that it's too dangerous. I am sorry that I'm telling cops that they probably should not show up for work, but it's too dangerous. I know that there's people out there suffering. There's domestic violence occurring. There's child abuse occurring. There's auto thefts occurring. There's burglaries that are occurring. There's robberies that are occurring, not in the zones where there's rioting happening. And the cops are having a balance between back and forth, and then they're being scrutinized that when they push somebody, he fell and hurt his head and he's going to be fired. You got the 6 cops in Atlanta who pulled these idiots who drove in and did whatever they did, and they were pissed. And out of the 6, 5 of them are black, by the way, and they suspended all of them too, right? And so that it's too difficult. You're expecting people to work under impossible conditions to be perfect. It's hard to be perfect in normal policing circumstances, but in this environment, it's impossible. It's an impossible situation. And then you're being also called systemically racist, right? That we're all racist because we're there, because we're trying to figure out who are the rioters and who are the peaceful protesters. Who are the rioters? Who are the peaceful protesters? From 6 feet to 6 feet, that can be different. If you walk 6 feet, there's peaceful protesters. 6 more feet, there's rioters. 6 more feet, there's peaceful protesters. Like you're going like, I got your head on a swivel, right? Again, not making excuses for bad behavior. I'm just telling you what it's like and how it's impossible. You are making it impossible. They don't want you there anyway. They don't want you, the cops there anyway. You don't need to be, don't go there. If you don't have to be there, don't go there, right? I'm not telling you to violate an order, but maybe it's better if you could just request, hey, I want to be on patrol. It's safer to be on patrol and handling a carjacking with an armed suspect than it is to put myself out there on the line in a riot zone. It is way more dangerous, not because of the rioters, because of the cameras, because of the media, because of the mayor, because of the governors, because of the pussy chiefs and sheriffs that are in charge, those that don't protect your officers when they're doing what they're doing in an impossible situation, the best job they possibly can. It's crazy. Let me just play one more. I'm going to play one video before I leave here. And wow, only 40. Wow, how did you get to 42 minutes? Dang it, I'm gonna pour this beer. This is a mango cart, by the way. Have you ever had mango cart and you put a little tahini on the top? You see the red stuff on there? Put a little tahini on there. It's like a mango with tahini, if you've ever seen, or chili. Whoa, what's happening here? Why am I spilling on my mouse? I just wet my mouse. But you have a mango cart beer with tahini on the top. It's like eating a mango with chili on it. It's awesome. All right, to you guys for watching. I just need to wet my whistle. All right. Dang it. My mouse got wet. Hold on. I got to do some housekeeping here. Hold on. Got to dry my desk. All right. So this video, who are the victims in this story? You got cops that are victims. I know it's not popular to say cops are victims. I know we're all racist and we're all hated and nobody likes us. I know. But there's cops that are victims. You got Captain Doran shot and left to die on a sidewalk. Guy with the camera didn't do anything, did nothing to help him as he was dying. Nothing. Didn't pray with him, didn't hold his hand and say, hey, I'm praying. I want to pray for you. You want to tell me anything? Is there anything? Nothing. Did nothing, but take a video of him dying. Right? Nothing. But who else are victims? And this is the other thing that the liberals don't care. The liberals don't care that these cities are being torn down. You've heard the mayor, the liberal mayor, say it's okay that they're burning down the buildings. It's okay. It's just a building. No, there's people that own businesses in those buildings. The stuff in there is being taken. That they've taken. It's taken years to get that equipment. the computers, the whatever else equipment is there that the looters are taking. It's taken years to get that. Well, they'll just use insurance. BS. BS. All right, so I'm going to play this video. This lady just is going to say it all. This is just not one example. There's several examples. There's an example that played after this video, which it's way too long to play, but this is one of hundreds of victims of people that own buildings that are being destroyed. Hold on, I want to come back. I think my mic gets cut off when I do that. Buildings being destroyed, property being stolen from hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of people that are being affected by allowing people to vent, by destroying property and stealing loot out of these buildings. All right, this woman says it all. You ready?
The problem that bothers me, you said Black Lives Matter. I work here part-time. Plus, I'm a part owner of this store. You said Black Lives Matter. Why don't you choke me? I'm black.
Tell him, sister.
Look what you did to my store.
Tell him, sister.
Look what you did to my store.
Tell him, sister. That's right, because I got they back. These are my clothes right here.
Look
Good
at the
men.
things you done.
Good men.
Look,
The Black Lives Matter.
we've been here all night cleaning up. All night cleaning.
And you got black people standing right here with them.
Tell me
That's right.
Black Lives Matter. You lied. You wanted to lose the store. You needed money. Get a job like I do. Stop stealing it. It is the middle. We're trying to build it up and you tearing it down. What's your...
Yep. She says it all. She says it all. So I don't know what you're going to do, my fellow police officers. I don't know. I'm sad. I don't have an answer for that. I have an answer how we can make things better. I've talked about it for several days. I've had people tell me, well, the NAACP says these things, and these things need to happen. I looked at the list. I go, all those things have been happening since Rodney King. All the things they listed are all happening. I saw something today that said, we're going to make a resolution that the chokehold is illegal. We made the chokehold. No police department that I know of has used the chokehold since the 1900s. No department. Either they've not authorized it, they haven't allowed it. Just because, see, they want to come on like act like they're doing something. They're doing nothing. They have never done anything. It's not about, what does the chokehold have to do with that moron cop, former cop, kneeling on George's neck? Who George was a criminal, by the way. That was the only reason they were there. It wasn't that they said, oh, we're going to go kneel on some guy's neck. Let's get that guy. No, he was a criminal, has a criminal background. But that doesn't change the fact that they shouldn't have been kneeling on his neck. What is the chokehold? Because they wanted to get on the news and say, we are going to sign a bill today outlawing the chokehold. And they know the chokehold has not been used since the 1900s by law enforcement because we all, right? I think it is even the chiefs of police, the associated chief. I think I could, somebody could tell me if I'm wrong or not. Made a choice. I said, you know what? We need to take this out of one of the things that we do. I used it. I knocked out a bunch of people, and it was very useful when you do it right. Right? You choke them out. They pass out. You roll them over. You get them handcuffed, and then they wake up like they were never choked out, and they start fighting. And they go, and they have no idea how the handcuffs got on. Like it goes from fighting to out, handcuffs on, and they wake up, and then they think they're still standing fighting. They don't realize, how did I go from standing to on the ground when did that happen? But it is a very powerful tool. Did people die from it? Yeah, because cops didn't know how to do it right, and they did it wrong. Again, adrenaline kicked in. They held on too long. They didn't know when to stop. Bad training. I know one other thing I want to talk about. I'm so sorry. One of the things that also we don't know, what you don't know, and what you don't realize as a civilian sitting there is that not all cops on the police department are taught how to handle a riot. When you hear about the 57 SWAT officers that resigned from Buffalo, thank you for whoever put that up. I think it was one of the Aprils. it's because normally the SWAT team has been trained how to handle riots, and that's who handles the riots. When you're bringing in the street cop to handle riots, in many cases, not all, but in many cases, they really haven't been trained extensively on how to handle a very violent riot. Do you need training for these specific things? Really? Yes and no. Like there's certain things that just common sense. Hey, I know not to, when nobody's, when somebody's walking by saying, fuck the police, that I can't just hit them with my nightstick in the face. You want to, but you don't, right? That's common sense. But there are formations, there is timing, there is a rear guard, right? Where does the dog go, the police dog go? Do we use a police dog in a riot? In most cases, no, right? We don't do that anymore. We did in the 60s. We learned our lessons. We don't do that much anymore. But there's formations and sticking together. Nobody goes running off to chase somebody all by themselves, because that's what happened. You saw the cop got beat up by the kids with the fire extinguisher. He was by himself. Do not end up by yourself, right? And why did that happen? Probably because that officer never attended riot training. And so now you have these officers that are, again, put into a very difficult position, an impossible position, doing something they've never been trained for. Do you see, when you look back, if you watched any of my videos where I talk about that certain things about departments, a lot of people don't know, and they're making assumptions, and they're making accusations and saying things that are simply not true. Because they just want to believe cops are racist. They want to believe CNN when they say systemic racism is rampant in law enforcement, which means the entire industry of law enforcement is racist. That's what systemic racism means. The entire system is racist. No, it is not. It is never proven. It is never, every study that you look at shows that it's not. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. We are more likely not to use force on Black people because we understand that we can be perceived as being racist. And so we're less likely. There's many studies that show that over the years, and that is true. That is a true fact, regardless of what you want to believe. I don't care who you are. If you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, you're going to send something and say that I'm full of crap. I've been doing this for a very long time. I know studies. I've read them. I participated in studies, and I've taught law enforcement officers throughout North America and throughout the world. That doesn't make me great. That just tells you, at least, I've been doing it for a very long time. I've been asked questions on C-SPAN. I've been asked questions on ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. I get grilled on the stand with federally and statewide throughout the country and in Canada on criminal cases involving police wrongdoing. I know these things to be true because I've studied them. And your idea that you want us to be evil people is simply wrong. Sometimes we're put in situations we have not been prepared for, and it's not always the officer's fault. The 4 cops, and I meant to get to this earlier, and I'm so sad that I didn't. You have 2 officers of the 4 that were arrested for the murder of George Floyd. 2 of the officers have only been on the job 4 days. Those 2 other officers were their training officers. The cop that got arrested was the training officer of one of the officers that had been there for 4 days. The officer that was there for 4 days says, hey, he's not breathing. Why are you still on him? Should you not? Not in these words, right? It was something similar to, hey, I don't have a pulse. I think we should probably let him up. And the FTO, remember what I told you on one of the very first shows I talked about cops, is that you're put in a position as a very brand new officer that you don't know if this is a trick or a test or what's happening. And you have seniority. You have a training officer who's supposed to be teaching you everything because you don't know enough. Remember, they treat you like scum. In your first year as a police officer, you're told to sit in the front of the briefing room. You're told not to speak. You're told to go get the car, make sure the car is ready to go, wash the windows, wash the car. That is your job as a rookie. You're no good to anybody for anything else other than getting the car, washing the car, and doing all this. And it's important that you kind of go through this period of time. You have to sit in the car while the senior officers go eat in a restaurant. You bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and eat in the car while the senior officers get to sit in a restaurant that's air conditioned and have lunch. This is the way that it works. And so you're conditioned that no matter what, you are a piece of crap as long as you are on probation and FDO program. And in 4 days, you know nothing. And this is how you handle police work. So I'm sad to say that those 2 of the officers with 4 days on are probably victims themselves. I know you want to call me bad names, and you want to say I'm a horrible person, and you want to say, see, I knew you were racist, Andy. But you have 2 cops 4 days on, being taught by the 2 officers that are senior to you. One of them is murdering a man, and you told him that he's had enough. And the training officer that has told you that you are to shut up, only listen to me. You are not to talk to me unless I ask you to talk to me. Has told you, mind your own business. I know what I'm doing. 4 days on, in a very, very lousy spot. 2 cops, 4 days on. Should they be in prison for the rest of their life? Should 2 of those cops with 4 days on be in prison for the rest of their life? Or, 30 to 40 years, whatever that is. They were cops for 4 days. I remember being a cop in the first year during probation. It's not easy. I told you the story of the car stop of a carjacking suspect, and a person not related to the call stopped and asked for directions to Disneyland. I have my gun out, right? And they, show me your hands! Get your hands up! To the people inside the car. Show me your hands! Little car comes up, stops, right? About 4 or 5 feet from me. Rolls down the window. Excuse me, officer. Can you tell me how to get to Disneyland? I'm kind of lost. I don't know how I ended up here. And I'm going, show me your hands. I'm going, really? Do I not look like I'm busy? My FTO in plain clothes goes around my police car that I'm driving and literally pulls him out the window. And I can see it happening. I can hear it happening. I can hear stuff happening. I'm concentrating because these guys are supposed to be armed, right? The guys ahead of me are supposed to be armed. I hear like flop and then poof, and then I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, and then I hear my FTO say, get the fuck out of here, and then pushes and then like throws him, and you hear him like hit the car, and then he gets in, and then the little car, I think it was like a VW Bug or something like that. He takes off. And then the officer comes back and goes, I took care of that. Like, it was no big deal. Like, this happens every day, right? This is the kind of crap that happens every day. And so we clear the call. We arrest those guys. They go to jail, clear the call. And then I get called into the lieutenant's office, the watch commander's office. And they say, Andy, were you on this? You're on this car stop, felony car stop. And somebody stopped and asked for directions. And I said, oh, yeah, I remember that because I was busy, with the suspect that we arrested for carjacking. And did you hear this officer, this FTO, they gave his name, pull him out through the window and not open the door and then throw him on the ground and do whatever he did. I forgot, he gave him noogies or something. I go, no, I didn't. I was busy. with the thing. And then they pulled a whole bunch of stuff on me saying, integrity is a very important thing. And again, I was in phase 5 of the FTO program. Phase 5, I'm getting ready to get out. I think this was one of the last days I had in phase 5 of the FTO program. Phase 5 is the final step. The FTO you're with is in plain clothes. He's supposed to be invisible, and you handle all the calls as if you're by yourself, and he's not there, and he's got to evaluate. He's actually the first officer you get assigned with. So you get assigned with him on day 1 for a week. Or maybe longer. I forget how long it is now. And then you get after you go through another officer for phase 2, another officer for phase 3, another officer for phase 4, you get reassigned with the very first officer for phase 5, who now is in plain clothes. He writes down everything you're doing, what you say, what you do, if you put it in park too early, if you didn't take your seatbelt off before you got to a call, if you, whatever, radio traffic, if you didn't talk on the radio properly, if when you made a car stop, you didn't tilt your wheels to the left to protect you from bullets if somebody started shooting from the car that you were stopping, everything was evaluated. A long check sheet. They call it a critical task sheet. So a critical task sheet that they would check off everything that you did or didn't do. And it was critical. If you didn't get through that phase, you were done. You would either have to be rephased, which they didn't do very often, or you would be done and you would no longer be a police officer. I'm in phase 5, being called into the lieutenant's office, asking whatever I would say would cause this officer to get in trouble, right? He would be suspended or whatever. At least that's what, but you don't know. You don't know. Listen to me. I'm telling you, this is the truth. You don't know as a rookie cop, like, it might be set up as to if I can hang as a police officer, that we cover for each other, right? You don't know if it's a trick. You don't know because they're putting you through so many things. Like some scenarios are set up, some calls are set up to cause you to think, to make decisions, and they're not real. In addition to the real calls, like things are done. Like I had an officer say, "Hey, we gotta go. You gotta go down this alley. Turn right down this alley. Now go down this other alley, right?" And I'm trying. What did you hear? It was on the radio. You didn't hear it? And I'm going, no. And he's like, "Turn right, turn left, get in the alley, turn off your lights, turn off your spotlight." And he would say, "Where are we?" I go, "I don't know. In the city of Anaheim, somewhere." "You don't know where you're at?" "No, I don't know where I'm at. We're somewhere in the west end of Anaheim." "But where are you? You're being shot at. You're going to die. You are bleeding. How can you tell somebody to come and rescue you if you don't know where you're at?" Right? That stuff would happen. Not all the time, but enough that you don't know when it's a trick or not. And I'm telling you this because this is the life of a police officer. These two officers that were on the scene when George Floyd got killed, 2 of them only had 4 days on. And now they're in jail. 4 days. They're in jail. Because I don't know. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to handle it. And based on what I've heard, they tried to. One of them at least did. He said, "Hey, the guy doesn't have a pulse. Maybe we should roll him over." And the training officer said no. It's hard. It's a difficult thing. All right. So I am sad for law enforcement right now. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I know how to fix these things. I have brought it up. I have said nobody's asked me to help. and I, like I said, I've testified all over the United States and all over Canada. Not all over Canada, a few places in Canada, but all over North America. And I have given suggestions. I have talked. In some of the cases, I said, you have no supervision of these K-9. No, the supervisor has no idea what these guys are doing. They're out of control. They're doing things they shouldn't be doing. And told them, and they said, they don't care. They say, I'm an asshole because I suggest to them that, listen, all you need to do is supervise. That's all the change you need. That's all the change you need. Supervise. Find out how many car stops are making where they're claiming that there's something there after the dog alerts, and there's nothing there. When you see a pattern of saying that my dog alerted and there's nothing there over and over and over again, something's broken. The dog is broken, or the integrity of the officer handling the dog is broken. That's the only two things. It's the only two things. If you have a dog that's consistently searching vehicles and supposedly alerting to the presence of narcotics, but yet when they search that vehicle, there's no narcotics, which happens on many of my cases. I've had 2 cases. I'm looking at my other computer while I watch the video. I have a case today and a case yesterday. The dog walked around, did nothing, and then they walked back to their patrol car until the primary officer, my dog alerted on that car. I could, if I was able to. I can't because I have I can't. I just can't. I'm forbidden to do so. But I could show you the video, and you would go, "What did the dog alert?" And I would tell he didn't alert. But yet the officer walked back to the patrol car, told the primary officer, said, "Oh, my dog alerted. Go ahead and search the vehicle. Go through everything. Tear open the seats, look under the seats, look into through the engine, remove the door panels, lift, take out the spare tire." You can do it. If your dog alerts, you can do anything to find narcotics in that vehicle. And yet the dog did nothing. All you need really is supervision, right? You have a cop that's kind of gone rogue because he's continued to do this and has success from time to time. So every 5th time he does that, maybe even every 3rd time he does that, they actually find narcotics because you get really good at pulling over certain people, right? Not just blacks, but whites and Mexicans that are driving, a rental car through an area where you would not normally see a rental car in some cases, or you would see a person driving a car in a manner that when you're driving and they see you and they do this and they shake the steering wheel, and then you get behind them and you watch them slow down, and there's some other things, you pull them over, you get to talk to them, and you can see inside that you have a rental car with air freshener, Rental cars usually don't have air freshener hanging from the windshield, or not from the windshield, but the rearview mirror. That's not illegal to have an air freshener, but it's one of those signs, right? You had first his mannerisms when you pulled up next to him. He's driving a rental car at a time and an area all by himself, what doesn't really make sense that he's driving a rental car. You pull the car over, you have the air freshener, the Christmas trees, right, hanging from the rearview mirror, maybe more than one. You have dryer tissue or dryer sheets that are kind of laying down in the back. The reason they do that, it masks the odor of marijuana, methamphetamine, cocaine, or heroin coming out of the window so that it smells not like marijuana, a load of marijuana or a load of heroin, right? And so now they do a search and said, I know this guy's guilty. We need to get in there and find the dope. And they say the dog alert when he didn't. There's your problem. That's where you cross the line. You may be right, but you cannot get in that vehicle unless your dog alerts. You can't. That is illegal. That is illegal search and seizure. That is lying on a police report. It's all of those things. I have yet to prove my case, and I've done it a number of times here. I've proven the case a number of times that the officer lied in the police report and illegally searched a vehicle based on nothing that the dog did. And yet the dog goes back, or the handler goes back to work with that dog to do it again. And I have many cases where it's the same handler and the same dog multiple times doing the same thing. And yet I go to places like, I can't say, I'm not going to say, because, the attorneys that I go against, they watch all my Facebook lives, just so you know, because they brought them up in there. And so here is the quandary, right? You have a suspect carrying narcotics and you're saying, well, it's okay because it's a bad guy. Well, then it has to be okay to kill George Floyd, right? Because he's a bad guy. I've told you hundreds of times, he is a bad guy. He has a long criminal record, but you can't kill him, right? You got to get off his neck. I don't mean to laugh. I'm just telling you, it is really goofy that you're trying to tell me that, you're a racist. No, I'm just trying to explain to you how these things happen. I'm not telling you that it's okay. Just like when I go into court and say, it's not okay to claim your dog did something that he didn't do to get in a vehicle. And yes, you found narcotics. Yes, you found a gun. I understand. Should that guy go to jail? Yes, but not based on a lie, because it sets a bad precedence. It is bad because how many other cars got pulled over that didn't have drugs that you went through and searched against somebody's constitutional rights? How many other people did you do that to? It's not about this one bad guy. He will get caught again, right? He'll get caught again. Most suspects are stupid. But there's other ways to get him. There's other things other than lying about what your dog did or didn't do. There's other things you could do. If my dog searched and didn't work and didn't do what he was supposed to, I would go to plan B. There's always a plan B. One of the plan Bs is that you let him go. Here's your driver's license. Sorry to inconvenience you. We've had a number of things going on this road, and you've matched the description of that type of person who we're looking for. So we apologize. You can be on your way, right? He goes on his way. You got on your radio. You get your narcotics team on, or a street narcotics team on, and say, hey, we got this car. We're pretty sure that he's carrying narcotics. The dog didn't alert for whatever reason. We don't know why. Dog having a bad day, not sure. But are you available? We'll follow him a little bit longer if you can catch up, and then you could, what would be called code 5. And you would follow him and surveil him and see where he goes and see what he does. Maybe he'll go to a nasty neighborhood. Maybe he'll violate another crime and we can pull him over again for something else. Maybe he's speeding. Maybe he makes a turn without a turn signal. We can stop him and have a different dog search. That's how police work is done, right? It's not through lying, because your integrity is way more important than that one arrest. Your integrity as a police officer is more important than one arrest. I know that this guy could go on and hurt somebody. I know that. But the integrity of law enforcement, the integrity of a police officer is so important. You cannot lie just to put one guy in jail. Then you can do things to catch him in other ways. There's more than one way to catch a bad guy. All right. So I hope I made myself clear. This is so important. All this stuff is important. It's not so easy just to say, stop all policing, defund police departments. All this stuff is BS. You know, it's not going to happen. I would hope that maybe one city do it, and then everybody can see what a poor example libertards are in their decision making. All these things that are horribly bad for society, communities, are liberal run cities. I'm just telling you that it's a fact. You can look it up. Baltimore, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, homeless problems, crime problems, illiteracy, fatherless children, all in liberal cities and states for the most part. Sure, are there Republican cities that have some of the stuff going on, but not to the extent of liberal run cities and states. All right, that is it. I went to 1 hour and 10 minutes. Are you kidding me? That is so crazy. Thank you all for joining. Hey, Cousin Barb, what you got to say here? Thank you, Andy, Tony, and I appreciate your experience and your insights of the cop life, being so close to this. Yeah, your son is a cop. Not just starting out. He's been in the cop for a few years now, but yeah, it's not cut and dry. It's not, you guys have no idea. And it's not, I'm not telling you that it's hard or it's impossible. It doesn't take brain surgery to be a cop, but it's definitely not what you think. Some of you, not all of you. And even when they do get caught, they bail out and are right back. Oh my God, that is the whole other thing. When got sanctuary cities, you got these rioters that are looting, and they arrest them and they let them go, and then they're back doing the same thing that maybe that same night, and sometimes the next day. At best, it's the next day, right? That's a big arrest, right? They arrest them and then they don't get out until the next day. The feds, Donald Trump had to send, the president of the United States had to send federal agents over there to find a way to keep some of these people in jail because the liberals keep letting them loose. Those of you that hate Trump, those of you that hate President Trump, he's trying to keep some of these bad guys in jail. You guys hate that he's trying to keep bad guys in jail, right? It's so horrible. They're putting criminals in jail. That's so sad. Yeah, it's so sad. So that they get out and just continue their shit. All right, that's it. I got to stop. I know I got to stop. I really promised myself I would only be on for 30 minutes. Oh my gosh. Sally, nice to see you. Bev, great to see you. Sean Blair, great to see you. Oh yeah, guess what your new rates will be? Exactly, right? Yeah, insurance will take care of it. Please, come on. That's a good question. They'll find a reason not to. They may pay for looting on the days that don't end in Y. Like there's a clause. Like we will pay for writing, but if the day that it happened on ends in Y, then we won't pay it. There's always stuff like that going on. Thank you very much, Mitzi. I appreciate it. All right. I'm going to give you all a break. Go back to doing what you're doing. There's some good comments, and I'm so sorry, but I can't get to them all because I'll be on forever. So thank you very much for watching. Don't stop. I have way more. I got more pages of notes here on stuff. I could talk about Rod, Rocket Rod. God, what a lying ass piece of crap. I was just watching testimony by Al Sharpton. It was several months ago, maybe 9 months ago, maybe I forget when he did that. Hey Chuck, nice to see you. He's a piece of crap, Al Sharpton. Just a lying ass piece of crap who doesn't help anything. Why they had him at the memorial yesterday, I have no idea. It's just oh God, I just was watching this testimony, just lying through his teeth. The questioning was fantastic from, gosh darn, dang it, I know the congressman's name. I just can't think of what his name is. Asking him if he's ever called a Jew, a Jew. Like the names he was using, the names Al Sharpton was called Jewish people, even black people. Uncle Tom's and worse, the N-word. Like Al Sharpton calls black people the N-word. It's okay for him because he's black. I understand that. I have known that for years. But just that stuff, just everything that comes, they're such hypocritical bastards. Hydroxychloroquine, right? When I talked about earlier, it's like they never mind being lied to. They've been lied to, right? Democrat voters. There's many of them. Again, some of them have come over because they message me and they say, Andy, you know what? I've been following you and listening to you, and I've said bad things about you in the past. But I'm tired of being lied to. You pointed out early on that I was being lied to, and I didn't believe you. And I said, you're being lied to. The hydroxychloroquine. I told you. I had many shows back when this was called the Facebook Live TV show. I talked about. I don't know what they're talking about. I've seen studies, and I've talked to doctors saying hydroxychloroquine is a drug for people that are not dying, that may be helpful. And they said, we've seen some results. As a matter of fact, many doctors and nurses take it just to see if it may be something as a prophylactic, so that it'll keep them from getting it. There's certain words I can't say some days. So we don't know what to talk about, what the media is talking about, that it's going to kill you. Like, yeah, people have died while taking it, but that's because they were going to die. They didn't die because of the hydroxychloroquine. And now a story comes out and says, well, we're retracting everything we said in that study because we were wrong. I told you. It's like, my God. Like, we could just keep going on and on and on. And you would think at some point Democrats would say, and they always say, Democrat, Donald Trump's a liar. You're a Republican, you're lying. I said, well, I go, show me where I've lied, right? Show me where Donald Trump has made a really a racist. Show me where he said something that is truly racist. I have yet somebody to give me anything that shows that he's racist. Anything. He is loved by black people before he became president, right? He's been loved by Hispanics. He's loved by a bunch of people. And nobody ever said he was racist before he became president. He's only suddenly become racist since he's been president. And nothing he's ever said as president is racist. Nothing, right? Does he have a strong personality? Yes. And that's what I love, right? You're just a bunch of wusses that you can't handle somebody who talks strong. Oh, did you hear what he said? Oh my God. I don't care that they burned down a building of an older woman in her 60s or 70s where her whole life was put into that store. I don't care that they looted her property and the products in her store and the equipment that took months and maybe years for her to finally be able to afford. We don't care that they destroyed her livelihood where she's worked for God knows how long and now has to clean up the mess. We don't care about that. But Donald Trump, he said, oh my God. He pushed some people out of the way so that he could go to the church. He pushed them out. Oh my God, they were peaceful. No, they were hiding rocks and bricks in the bushes. They found them. They told him 3 times, hey, we're coming through. Get out of the way. No, we're not getting out of the way. We're a bunch of pussies. No. Oh, they're hurting us. They used tear gas. They did not use tear gas. They used smoke. But the media said they used tear gas. Yeah, the media says a lot of things. They said hydroxychloroquine was killing people. It's not. They said that Trump was a Russian spy. He was not. General Flynn was a Russian operative and lied to the FBI. He didn't lie to the FBI, and he wasn't a Russian. They told you that too. Do you think they're not going to tell you that they used tear gas when they didn't use tear gas? You bunch of pussies. Jesus. Dang it, Sean. Why'd you tell me to keep going? I gotta go. I don't have my thing running here underneath. I don't have my foul language running underneath. Oh my gosh. Don't worry, I'm going to do a chug afterwards for Tennessee Chuggers. If you're not a part of Tennessee Chuggers, you should be, because it's one of the most entertaining Facebook groups I've been on. It's fantastic. And they're great people. Everybody on there is a great person. All right. So you wanted me to continue. It's exhausting. So everything Trump says or does it's just the craziest thing. I try to find the humorous side of most of this stuff. You can't find a humorous side of somebody killing George Floyd. There's nothing humorous about that. I know that sometimes I'm not laughing at that. I'm sometimes laughing at the absurdity of what people can create out of that. Right? Systemic racism in law enforcement is not true. It is a myth. I've shown you all that, right? But that is what's become of that. We could have taken that, whatever happened, and showed, listen, you had a bad cop who has a lot of other reports of abuse under the color of authority that are documented, 13, 18, whatever the number is. If it's more than 3, it's too many, and nothing was ever done. That is the problem. That's not systemic racism. That's lack of supervision. That's lack of leadership from the mayor, who is a Democrat. Why are you not pissed at the mayor of Minneapolis, Minnesota? They're pissed at Trump. What does Trump have to do with the fact that they allowed a guy to continue in the Minneapolis Police Department who had that many complaints against him over years before Trump was president? What does that have to do? Whoa, what does that have to do with anything? Everything goes back to Trump. Well, Trump said, that's what I get all the time in arguments. Is that no matter what the discussion is, it always goes back to the orange man is bad. Okay, let's say he's bad. Let's say he's a horrible person. Let's say that he's screwing somebody in the Oval Office right now that's not his wife. Let's say that that's happening. That doesn't change the fact that the mayor in Minneapolis, Minnesota is a moron who does not know how to run a city and take charge of the police department and tell the chief what he needs to do to make his police department better. That is the issue. Not that Donald Trump, that he's not, I'm sure, but not that he's right now laying some girl, I almost said another word, on the carpet in the Oval Office. I don't care. I know that makes me a horrible person. I don't care. This is the problem. You're distracted, right? I love the fact that it came back that the economy was completely upside down to what the liberal media told you it was going to be, right? Millions more jobs are going to be lost in May. It's going to be so bad. There are going to be more jobs lost, and we're not going to. Our economy is going to be way negative. It's going to be horrible. And then it comes out today. Wow, we have more. Unemployment is less for the month of May. There's way more jobs, millions more jobs. There were supposed to be millions less jobs. Was it millions or maybe hundreds of thousands? I did Trump there. Oh my God, you stupid freaking liberal bitches. Hey, all right, here we go. I'm done. And it's not because I've only had 2 sips of that beer, so don't blame it on the alcohol. All right, that's it. I'm done. Still talking. Star Club. All right, you guys, I love you. I love you all of you that stuck around, and I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that I speak the truth. No, I'm not sorry that I speak the truth. What, did I just say that? I am not sorry that I speak the truth. I am sorry that maybe sometimes I get a little bit too much. I've been told, hey, you went a little bit too far. I know. I've been told that. And I do. But you guys keep watching. And the numbers keep rising. Hey, one more time. Let me just do this one more time. Please allow me to do this. And again, this is right now the way that I'm trying to create my living. And it's the only thing I have right now because the other stuff is just all the courts are shut down. They're still shut down. And if I do get a court case, I won't be paid for another 90 days in most cases. So if you drink coffee, I'm not telling you that you have to do that. I'm just saying, if you drink coffee, check out today's happycoffee.com. Order some coffee, try it. You're going to find yourself being energized more than a regular cup of coffee. There's also some weight loss stuff in there for those of you that gain weight during the COVID pandemic, which is all probably a waste of time. But try some today's happycoffee.com. Go there and try it. If you have any questions about it or want to know how you can be involved in selling the coffee, let me know because you could do that too. And so I would love for you to try it. That would be helpful for me. CBD oil, go to today'scbdoil.com. And other wellness products, go to today'svasilia.com. I only represent these companies because I use them all and they've all made a great difference in my life. I'm healthier and happier than I've ever been in my entire life. You wouldn't know that by these shows, but yes, things are great. Things are fantastic. So coffee, CBD, wellness products, and just check them out and try something. And then if you don't like it, you can get your money back. But if you do like it, continue taking it and get on auto ship. That would help me out very much to continue to entertain you if I'm entertaining you. I don't know if that's true. All right. Let me just look at a couple. Let's see. And remember, this is about good and evil. Yeah, I know who the good are and I know who the evil are. They've made it very clear, right? Their stance is sanctuary cities, let criminals out, do not charge them for misdemeanor crimes. They hate the broken window theory, which is one of the best things for law enforcement, the best things for community. I know you want to call it racist. I know that you want to go there. I know it, but if it's done right, it's not racist. And it actually helps Black communities. It actually helps Hispanic communities. If you do this right and do it in a way, broken windows theory is one of the best things you can do for police work, right? But they hate it. They say sanctuary crime. They want to tax you. These are all great things, right? This is what their platform is. That's evil, right? That they want to destroy America. That is evil if they want to destroy America. Does that mean everybody that's a Republican is fantastic? No. Lindsey Graham, I am not a fan of Lindsey Graham. I am not a fan of a few Republicans. So I'm not saying that every Republican is going to make our life great. But I know for sure the Democrats are going to destroy our country. There's not one of them that I don't think is going to destroy our country. There may be 2 that I like that have done some good stuff, but the Democrat policies and their platform is to destroy America. They destroy the economy, right? High taxes. They cause poverty. They have been poor on education. education in the cities that are run by Democrats is the worst education in the country. And now they want to end law enforcement. Is that a country that you want? Is that what America is? No, not at all. All right. That's it. I don't know how I could end any better. That's my platform. I'll talk to you later.